Okay. We are back and we have a quorum. We do have 2 citizens who signed up to speak on item 9K1 that we are now returning to, or not returning to, really just coming to for the first time. Lydia Lewis. Is Lydia on the line? Okay. Raylyn Parham? Okay. Well, those are the only citizens who signed up to speak. We are on 9K1. This is collective bargaining agreement with the Fraternal Order of Police. Mr. City Manager, maybe I'd like this kind of on the record. I mean, though we are moving forward with a rollover contract potentially today, we're going to vote on it. You know, that doesn't preclude, obviously, because these are very important efforts that we're very committed to. This doesn't preclude these important reform efforts we're talking about, both at the Law Enforcement Policy Task Force, as well as the working group that you're creating in response to the council resolution. Those efforts will continue and have every, ability and possibility of bringing change. We just don't know what those changes are at this point, how they will interact with potentially with a contract or whether they even will at all. And so we're going to potentially move forward today with this, but those reform efforts are still very real, something that we're very much committed to, and something that may very well bring change in the future. Fair statement?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Any other comments or questions or motions?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been involved in the negotiations. I appreciate their work, and I understand why we're taking this particular approach at this particular juncture. At the same time, because I will be serving on at least 2 different law enforcement task force, including one looking at best practices as it relates to citizens advisory boards, de-escalation policy revisiting, the community policing proposals that we were able to put forth in terms of a study heading into the next fiscal year budget, and on account of the numerous conversations I've had with constituents and, quite frankly, residents across the city. I don't feel comfortable with this iteration of the contract, just because I feel like we're in a liminal space, we're in an in-between space in terms of those conversations, and we don't know yet, I don't know yet, what fruit those conversations will bear later this fall and winter. And again, this has nothing to do with the number of officers and their salaries and their benefits. It's just literally for me about the fact that our entire country is having a nationwide conversation about the accountability process, for instance, as well. And that's something we're going to be taking up in these task force. So that's where I'm at with this. And that's why at this particular juncture, I won't be able to support this iteration of the contract. But I look forward to working in good faith with everyone moving forward on this item. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
Yes, I'd like to share that sentiment because this is a time for us to be able to have very fruitful conversations. And with that, again, this is a knock on the officers that do great work, but we want to ensure moving forward that we are having very thought-provoking conversations when it comes to the neighborhood policing and how we can better serve our communities together, and just working to ensure that there's more diversity and inclusion in the process as well. So I just share that sentiment with my vote.
Mayor, this is David Greenwell. I'd like to move for approval of this item, and also I want to comment, I want to thank each member of the Oklahoma City Police Department for their efforts, from the newest member all the way up to Chief Gorley, and I appreciate all the work they're doing. Thank you.
I want to second that, and I agree wholeheartedly with what David just said.
Okay. Well, let's be sure and do that digitally as well, those motions that you just referenced. And personally speaking, I don't know where my Prime Gov is on my screen anymore.
Mayor, mine's not coming up either.
You know, well,
Yes, the motion was Councilman Greenwell, a second by Stone Cipher,
do we just want to
and we need to do a roll call vote.
just do a roll call? Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Mayor, I have beginning. Could you tell me what you're voting on?
We are going to vote on the actual item 9K1 collective bargaining agreement with the Fraternal Order of Police for this fiscal year.
Which is the rollover strategy, is that right?
So, but we're going to do it through a roll call vote. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, clerk, please call the roll.
Griner,
Yes.
Cooper,
No.
McAtee,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Greenwell,
Yes.
Hammond,
No.
Nice,
No.
Stone Cipher,
Yes, please.
Mayor Holt.
Yes.
Mayor, citizens here that signed up to speak.
Well, we have passed that point, I guess. What is the vote?
The vote is
6-3. Okay, motion passes 6-3.
Mayor,
Oh,
I'd like
yeah.
to hear, if those citizens are available, I think they should still be heard.
Okay. Who, both of the citizen residents, Francis, or just one? Raylyn Parham.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, and we apologize. We called your name a few minutes ago and then we moved on. So we have already voted, but we'd be happy to hear from you. If you could state your name and address and keep your remarks to 3 minutes.
My name is Raylyn Parham. I'm from Ward 8 with Councilman Stone Cipher. And yeah, we were able to read the agenda and I have a few questions specifically for Stone Cipher, Craig Freeman, and you, Mayor Holt, who have continued to ignore me over the past year in continuous spaces. So I'm glad you're able to hear this right now. Can I wonder why the community could have not been involved in this process in a more accessible way? I was on the Zoom call, kicked off, unable to get back on because he went to executive session, had to go online onto a Twitter account to figure out what was going on with that. I had to use a different phone to log onto this Zoom. Like, it's inaccessible for the community to even have access to discuss these things with you guys. The idea that the FOP will be policing the police and those things are the same is astronomically irresponsible of you. We have offered so many resources as abolitionists in the city, and we feel like those resources should be respected. This is not a unique opinion of mine. This is something that is coming from the people. The CRC has said this very well. A source has been giving to you very many times. I would like a specific response from you, Mayor Holt, Craig Freeman, and Stone Cipher. And if you do not offer one, we will continue to be very loud about it because it is our right as citizens to be heard and respected. I know you're seeing the unemployment lines. I know you're seeing the eviction rates. I know you're seeing our rising hospitalizations. We're outside the jail right now waiting for the people that just got arrested in DA Prater's office for sitting there for a couple hours silently protesting DA Prater having these crazy terrorism charges on people that were speaking up against your decision making. You need to do better. I yield my time.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, that concludes our agenda, which brings us to item 14, adjournment, and we are adjourned. Thank you for your time, everyone.
Thank you.